So Marvel's Wolverine just got a new features trailer, and there was a lot more packed into this than I was expecting. Some of it is stuff we've already heard about, especially if you've been following the hands-on coverage. But we finally got a much better look at how some of these systems actually work. We got to see more of the techniques and adaptations, how progression works, what we'll be able to find while exploring, a much better look at the suit system, and even some of the things we'll be able to do after finishing the game. And there are also quite a few smaller details hidden in the menus that the trailer doesn't really stop to explain. So I went back through it, took a closer look at everything they've showed, and there's quite a bit to talk about. If you've been enjoying all of the Wolverine coverage leading up to launch, make sure you're subscribed. We're only a couple of weeks away now, and I'm going to have plenty more coming. But let's get started with the combat.
I'm Liam McIntyre, and I play James Logan Howlett, aka Wolverine. Logan is all about the claws, so closing the gap is essential. He's even more lethal when he combines swift adamantium attacks with hefty kicks, fierce barrages, and critical strikes. Sensors keep him sharp. Attack from above with stealth takedowns, or surprise enemies from behind cover.
At the start of the video, Liam McIntyre, who is the one that is narrating this trailer, which is awesome, talks about combining claw combination by closing the gap on your enemies right into barrages and critical strikes, along with using your senses to track down enemies. If you choose to use stealth, there are stealth takedowns as well. Now, we've already heard quite a bit about Wolverine's techniques from the recent hands-on previews, but this trailer gives us a much better look at the actual menus and how they're set up. One of the techniques shown is knee breaker. This lets Logan bash an enemy in the head, stagger them, and interrupt attacks. Then there's tornado spin, which we've seen quite a bit in the gameplay. It's basically an attack for dealing with multiple enemies around Logan, and every hit also helps build rage. What we also know is the techniques themselves can also be upgraded. On tornado spin, for example, we can see that it's already been upgraded to spin longer, break blocks, and interrupt most attacks. So unlocking the technique is only the beginning. You can continue putting resources into it and improve what that move is capable of doing. And looking at the rest of this screen, there are quite a few techniques here. Logan is only level 6 in this footage, and he has 4 technique points available, and there are still several locked abilities. You can have 4 special techniques equipped at a time, so depending on how many of these we eventually unlock, we're probably going to have to decide which 4 work best for how we want to play. Then there are adaptations. These are more passive upgrades that change different parts of Logan's combat, and Insomniac says there are dozens of them. The trailer gives us a couple of good examples. One is Enraged Charge. Once Logan reaches Rage Tier 2, his special techniques recharge faster. If you reach Rage 3, they recharge even faster. Another one is Parry Recharge. That one rewards you for successfully parrying an enemy, recharging the special technique assigned to L2 and X faster. And I like the idea behind this because it gives you a little more control over how you build Logan. If you're somebody that parries a lot, you can have an adaptation that rewards you for that. If you like playing aggressively and keeping your rage up, there are adaptations that work for that instead.
Evolve further with adaptations for even stronger buffs like deflecting bullets, absorbing damage, or terrifying Logan's attackers. There are several to equip. Tune them to your playstyle.
And there are others focused on things like survivability, absorbing gunfire, and even giving you a larger window to land a parry. That all ties back into the rage system. Rage has 3 different tiers, and the higher you push it, the stronger Logan becomes. We already know there are abilities tied directly to those different tiers, including Last Stand, which can help Logan recover after being taken down. And now we can see that adaptations can react differently depending on which rage tier you're currently in. So there's some actual interaction happening between these systems. You're choosing techniques, upgrading those techniques, choosing adaptations that fit how you play, and then some of those adaptations are affected by your rage. I don't want to get too far ahead of what can actually be combined. We won't really know how much freedom the system gives us until we play it. But there's clearly more customization here than just unlocking a list of attacks and moving on. Now, the trailer also gives us another look at some of the places Logan is going to visit. We see Shinjuku in Japan, Madripoor, Telambang, and the Canadian wilderness. We already know Wolverine isn't an open world game, so I'm not expecting these to be giant areas where we can just go anywhere we want. But it does look like we're going to have room to explore within them.
Between encounters, explore the halls of the Essex Institute and meet other mutants, or take a drink at the Princess Bar in true Wolverine fashion. Or use Logan's senses to discover nightmare doors, sniff out whiskey bottles, or listen for material caches, unlock adaptations, forgotten memories, acquire new looks inspired by comics, animation, films, and games.
There are parts of the trailer at the Essex Institute where it specifically mentions being able to explore the halls and meet other mutants, which is insane. Honestly, I'm pretty excited to see what kind of mutants we get to interact with and see. What I'm assuming is that these are mutants that we are going to be saving and taking back to the Institute, but we'll see how that plays out. We also see the Princess Bar in Madripoor. We've already seen this a couple of times in some gameplay footage. So between some of the bigger missions, it looks like there will be quieter areas where we can walk around, interact with characters, and spend a little more time in these locations instead of immediately moving into another combat encounter. Then there's everything we can find while exploring. Logan's enhanced senses can help locate nightmare doors, whiskey bottles, and material crates, and each one serves a different purpose. Nightmare doors lead to combat and traversal challenges, whiskey bottles can uncover pieces of Logan's forgotten memories, and material crates can give us resources that can be used to craft suits. One of the screenshots from the trailer gives us an even better idea of how this is going to work. Also on the screenshot here, he is doing the famous Wolverine meme, staring at the picture while lying on the couch. So that's a funny little detail that they put into the game. On the mission replay screen, it shows the mission Homecoming at 60% completion. Underneath that, it shows exactly what hasn't been found yet. There's one nightmare door, 2 material crates, and 1 whiskey bottle still missing. Other missions on that same screen are already sitting at 100%. So the game is actually keeping track of this stuff on a mission by mission basis. I like seeing that because if I finish a mission and know I missed something, I don't have to wonder where it was. I can see which mission I need to go back to, replay it, and look for what I missed. For anybody who likes going for 100% completion, that should make cleaning everything up a lot easier. So let me know if you're going to be going for 100% completion on this game. I know I definitely am going to. And those material crates lead directly into another big part of the trailer, the suits. We finally get a really good look at the suit selection screen, and there are a lot of different looks for Logan. There are suits inspired by different comics, movies, and animations, along with some much simpler outfits where Logan is basically just dressed like Logan. We've got things inspired by Weapon X, Old Man Logan, Ultimate Wolverine, and Patch, along with the Battle Reborn suit and some of the more casual outfits. The trailer also shows things like the yellow variant, which is the Deadpool and Wolverine adaptation movie suit, X-Force, the Marvel Tokon suit from the Marvel Tokon game, and Ultimate Red. And I'm sure people are going to spend plenty of time going through the entire grid trying to figure out what every suit is. But there are a couple of smaller customization details that caught my attention more than the number of suits. Ultimate Red is a good example because in the trailer it explains that there's an option to toggle the cowl. And from the footage, we can actually see the appearance change, including a version where Logan's face is exposed. So at least some of these suits have additional options instead of being one completely fixed appearance. Then underneath the suit description, Ultimate Red says that it includes hooked claws. The claws themselves can have different appearances too. And they're not just tied to one specific suit, you can change the claws at any point in time. Insomniac has mentioned bone claws, notched claws, curved claws, reflective claws, angled claws, and others. So even after choosing the suit you want, there's still some additional visual customization going on with Logan. And there's another small feature I know I'm going to use way more than I need to. Outside of combat, you can press L2 and R2 to pop Logan's claws whenever you want. It doesn't change the game or anything, it's just a cool Wolverine detail. The bigger surprise with the suits is that they aren't completely cosmetic. There's a screen in the trailer showing 6 out of 8 suits crafted, with a health upgrade attached to the progression. That means those material crates we're finding while exploring have a purpose beyond unlocking another costume. You find materials, use them to craft suits, and collecting those suits can contribute towards improving Logan's health. I think that makes the collectible side of the game a little more worthwhile. I'm already going to want to find the suits anyway, but there's an actual gameplay benefit for doing it. Another thing I was really glad to see is what they're doing after you finish the story. New Game Plus is available at launch. That by itself is nice, especially because we've seen other games add New Game Plus later. But Wolverine is also adding some progression specifically for that second playthrough. There are exclusive techniques in New Game Plus along with higher level caps. That gives more of a reason to actually play through the story again instead of starting the New Game Plus just to replay everything with the same fully upgraded character. If some techniques are only available on New Game Plus, then there's still something new to work towards. We also have Mission Replay. That connects back to the completion percentages we saw earlier because we'll be able to go back into individual missions and find whatever we missed. And there are nightmare challenges built around going for high scores. So when the story is over, we have New Game Plus, additional progression in New Game Plus, Mission Replay, the collectibles we may have missed, and nightmare challenges. How much time all of that adds to the game is something we won't know until launch. But I'm glad those options are already there instead of everything ending once the credits roll. We also got to look at photo mode. And I know this isn't going to matter to everybody, but for somebody making videos and thumbnails around this game, I'm definitely going to use it. There are quite a few controls in there. You can adjust the lighting around Logan, change the intensity, shadows, color, and distance. So it looks like we'll be able to do quite a bit more than just move the camera around and throw a filter on the image. Photo mode is coming through the day one update. Then we have the accessibility and gameplay settings. Insomniac says there are more than 100 new, returning, and improved accessibility features in Wolverine. And I also have a video covering this, so if you want to go check that out, I will have it in the description down below. Now, I'm not going to go through every single one because we'd be here forever, but I will at some point have a settings-specific video in the future. So make sure you're subscribed with the notifications on so you don't miss it. Also, if you'd like to support a little further, channel memberships are also an option. Now, some of the options let you adjust things like game speed, enemy health, dodge and parrying timing, lock-on behavior, and traversal assistance. There are also options for QTEs and even skipping puzzles. So there's a pretty wide range of controls over how difficult or demanding different parts of the game are. There's also an option that immediately caught my attention because I make content, which is streaming mode. There's a setting that controls the use of licensed or composed music. Then there's the violence customization menu. You can change dynamic blood, dismemberment, and visceral healing individually. So if you want everything we've been seeing from trailers, you can leave those settings on. If somebody wants to tone it down, they can do that too. Visceral healing controls how much physical damage is visibly shown on Logan's body. We've seen his healing factor represented pretty heavily in the gameplay so far, so it's interesting that even that can be adjusted. After going through the trailer again and looking at all the smaller details, I think I have a better idea of what Wolverine is actually going to be like to play for an extended period of time. Most of the marketing up to this point has understandably focused on the big stuff, like the brutality, the characters, the story. This trailer spent more time showing the systems connecting all of that together. There's more to the combat than the basic attacks we've been watching in trailers. There's progression within the techniques and adaptations. There are things to find while exploring these locations. Those collectibles feed into suits, memories, and challenges. Individual missions track what you've missed. And once the story is finished, there are already a few different ways to keep playing. None of that suddenly tells us how good the finished game is going to be. We will still have to play it to find out for ourselves. But these are the kind of details I've been wanting to see as we get closer to release. Nothing that completely gives away anything to ruin it all. But we've already seen plenty of footage showing us what Wolverine looks like when everything is going crazy. Now we're starting to see more of what we'll actually be doing between those moments. And with the game releasing September 15th, we don't have to wait much longer. So let me know what stood out to you the most from the features trailer. For me, I think the techniques and adaptations are probably what I'm most interested in seeing more of once we actually get the game. But I'm also curious how much there is to find in each mission and how much freedom we're actually going to be given to explore some of these locations. And if you noticed anything in the trailer that I missed, definitely put it down in the comments. Now, I absolutely appreciate your time. We've got plenty more Wolverine coverage coming as we get closer to launch. So if you've been enjoying these videos, be sure to hype up the channel, hit the like button, and share your thoughts, because it does help get my videos seen by others that are excited as well. Make sure you're subscribed and share my content with someone you might think will enjoy it. And be sure to let them know to like, share, comment, and subscribe as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys have a good day, good night, and a good morning wherever you're at, and I'll see you in the next one.